Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Vizek, can you tell me how many countries we have active military operations in pursuant to the 2001 AUMF?
Thank you, Congressman. I think this is a question that my colleague from DOD, who would understand the deployment off the top of his head better than I would, at least. I don't want to prejudge his answer.
Mr. Mario, do you have an answer to that?
So, as has already been talked about, Congresswoman, there's been up to 20 countries that at times over the last 20 years have been included in the AUMF 2001.
Okay. Have we added any new groups to the list of associated forces during the Biden administration? Mr. Vizek?
To my knowledge, no.
Okay. Have we removed any?
No, we have not.
Ms. Crass, turning our attention to Somalia, am I correct that all of the airstrikes conducted there under President Biden have been justified under the doctrine of collective self-defense?
Congresswoman, the strikes in Somalia have been conducted under the authority of the 2001 AUMF, and I know that at least some have been in defense of partner forces.
Mm-hmm. Including the February 22nd strike?
Yes.
Okay. The explanation from DOD so far has been that these strikes were conducted in defense of, quote, commander designated under partner forces. Will the administration publicly release the list of all such forces in Somalia whose defense is the basis for these airstrikes?
Congresswoman, they all fall under the Somali National Army. That's our partner force.
Okay. In Cameroon, Niger, and the wider Sahel, troop deployment have not largely been understood to be authorized under the 2001 AUMF. However, there have been multiple occasions under both Obama and Trump where our troops entered into hostilities and the executive branch retroactively claimed that they were engaged with associated forces under the 2001 AUMF. Do you believe Congress has authorized hostilities in West Africa?
So I'm not familiar with those particular strikes, but the analysis that we conduct is whether or not the 2001 AUMF authorizes the use of force against an entity because it is an associated force of Al-Qaeda, and then we look to the international law to determine whether or not it's appropriate to use force in a particular country, whether it be by the consent of that country or whether the host nation is unable or unwilling to provide that consent and defeat and counter the threat.
So are you saying that the executive branch has designated associated forces there under the 2001 AUMF?
Congresswoman, I think in the reports, the 1285 report, we indicated that Al-Qaeda in the lands of the Islamic Maghreb, or AQIM, is one of those associated forces that operates in West Africa.
All right, with that, I yield back.
Gentlelady.